Hey, welcome back to our first session of this year's IDTX, and it's Amanda, who was, we were just discussing, it's kind of become a tradition that she does the first session at these events now, after all these years.
Is it tradition, or did you just surprise me again today?
Well, so somewhere between those two is what's happening.
I
So
love
look,
it.
I'm very aware none of you are here to listen to me, so I'm going to get out of the way as quickly as possible. As I said, Amanda's presented so many times at this event, she really doesn't need much of an introduction, but she always shares just really cool stuff, which I think is probably the reason many of us are here. So with that, I'm going to pop your screen share up and get out of the way. Amanda, the stage is yours.
Oh my gosh, so much pressure, Tom. Stop it. I'm just gonna present. And yes, I'm using Canva because I love Canva. Hello everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm so glad that you're here, and I can't believe you've taken the time out today to spend time with me, but also at this amazing event. So I'm going to take you through how to create engaging microlearning experiences in Chameleon Creator with me, your learning geek. So I'll take you through the agenda for today. Firstly, I'll just quickly introduce myself for those that I haven't met before, and for those who are wondering, who am I? And I'll take you through just building some context around learning experiences. Now, learning experiences for me is my bread and butter, and something that I'd like to share and also define for people who are new to the learning experience design space, but also want to level up in the learning experiences design space as well. And then I'll take you through elements of microlearning and what that looks like. And then we can say hello to Chameleon Creator and what this tool is all about. And I'll also share with you my favorite features in Chameleon Creator. Then I'll also walk you through some visual design tips to really help you elevate what the microlearning experience could look like in a tool like Chameleon Creator. And also some Chameleon Creator use cases. I want to say Chameleon Creator quite a bit, so bear with me. And I'll also share, as we wrap up, just some best practices for micro e-learning as you design or have an upcoming project that you can weave in some micro e-learning experiences. And then the last slide is a thank you. Oh, and also this little dog here is a beagle because I have a beagle and her name is Doris. So I thought I'd pop her in here as well. So just a quick introduction. Hello, I am Amanda Nguyễn. So it's pronounced Nguyễn, not Nguyen, Nagayan. So there's a little phonetic there, so you can pronounce it or send me a voice memo and then tell me how you pronounce my last name. I am a learning experience designer, and I've been incredibly, incredibly grateful to have worked with companies like Canva, Shopify, and Netflix. And it's been 12 and a half years in the people and culture learning and organizational development space. This just really means that I love humans. I love the way humans learn. I love helping people grow and thrive in their roles, and also to help enable teams become world class. And that is something that I absolutely love. So at the moment, I am back to freelancing, running my own biz. I help mid to large size organizations level up in the LXD game, craft and I craft impactful learning experiences. Oh, I sure hope so. And also coach L&D teams. And I also love creating content for the L&D community and spreading positive vibes always. So when I have my work hat off, you'll probably see me scoffing down some donuts. Truly, I am obsessed. I'm also out and about camping quite a bit, and I love to talk about aliens. Yeah, it's my jam. But first, let's talk about learning experiences. I really just want to hone in and spotlight learning experiences to create context for this whole session before we dive into micro experiences. But for me, in how I define a learning experience, it's truly made up of multiple learning interactions. So on the right-hand side here, you can see an example. So let's say we have an example of a 6-month leadership learning journey that we've designed. This is what the multiple interactions can look like. So really a learning experience captures a bundle of interactions. And inside this learning journey, we can have a microsite, a guide, toolkits, e-learnings, coaching sessions, challenges, podcasts, or reflections, etc. So this is what I mean by a learning experience. And also with the learning experience, we need to make sure that it has a frequency and a cadence. So what it means by that is really looking at how often your learner interacts with the learning interactions, and also what the flow and the sequence is for the cadence. So it could look something like this. So for the coaching sessions, it could be a monthly experience, a monthly frequency with a cadence after you complete the first e-learning module. So this is just a snapshot view of what a learning experience is and how you can craft really engaging learning experiences with these elements in mind. But today, we're just going to focus on micro e-learning and microlearning itself. So elements of microlearning. Some of the elements that I find works really well when we are focusing on developing or crafting any micro-learning experience is ensuring that the content is focused, hyper-focused, really focusing on the copywriting, ensuring that it's short, sharp, and easy to digest, seamlessly integrates into the workflow of your intended audience. So when we think of someone's busy day, we want to make sure that whatever micro-learning that we provide or learning experience just weaves into the workflow and work day very easily. It has simple objectives, so no complex, long or 10 learning objectives, really hyper-focusing on one or two, ideally just one learning objective because it is a micro-learning experience. It's short and sweet, scalable, quick to consume, has a very clear narrative. So what I mean by clear narrative is just really a story or a key concept that is short and easy to understand, and also focusing on spaced repetition. So sometimes, people do opt for micro-learning because there might be a big learning piece that needs to be broken down and spread over a cadence or a frequency. So this is where micro-learning really helps make that happen. And some examples of micro-learning, here it is. We have e-learning, quizzes, discussion prompts, email campaigns, games, animations, short videos, audio clips, infographics, guides. So many various ways to do micro-learning and so many more. I can't see the chats right now, but if you have any other ideas, just drop it in the chat so your fellow learning geeks can also see and, have some inspiration of other micro-learning experiences that you can create. But let's again hyper focus on e-learning today because that's why y'all are here. Now, for me, when it comes to micro e-learning characteristics, these are some of the elements that I feel really fits nicely within the e-learning, micro e-learning. Having some call to actions. For me, e-learning as well really creates context for the intended audience. It's not going to solve all the problems within the organization, or it's not going to change someone's life. But really how I would use e-learning or micro e-learning is to really help prime a learner's mindset for the concepts that we're introducing or any change management pieces that we're introducing as well. So that's where I would use micro e-learning. Digestible, short format, quick assessments, feedback loops. So sometimes I see people design assessments and they don't include feedback. Please include some feedback. I think it's so great to have in that moment of a micro-learning experience to do a quick assessment and have that feedback loop ready to go so that your learner can see where they're going, where the developmental area is, and they can progress to the next question. And also adding hints and tips and some videos. We love videos and we love animations. Now, I want you to say hello to Chameleon Creator. I'm not sponsored by them. I just love the tool and I don't gatekeep because I really, really, truly believe that we as a learning community or people who are content creators or creators of learning content can really use beautiful, easy, seamless tools to just create better learning. One thing that I find when we are crafting learning experiences, there is a ripple effect. And what I mean by that is if you in the learning team or a stakeholder or a SME are designing learning content that is not that great, if I'm putting it politely, you are impacting, one, the employee experience and also the customer experience. Because when our employees are not given the tools or the, impactful learning experiences that they need to, one, thrive in their role, do their best work, that really multiplies and ripple effects through to the customer experience as well. So in turn, impacting the organization. So that's something that I like for learning designers out there to keep in the back of their mind. Powerful visual design really, really helps the process as well. So what can you create in Chameleon? So I've broken it down into the interactions that are available inside Chameleon Creator, and there's your static, click to reveal, and quiz-based. But before I go in, I truly believe in being an efficient designer. There's just so many ways that we can create and craft learning experiences or learning interactions nowadays, but I really feel that the faster that we can get it to our learners to test, or our intended audience to test or prototype, the more that we can get the feedback to refine that learning product to then make it something that's truly impactful. So, for me, sometimes I struggle with sitting down and crafting an e-learning module that may be long or has a lot of content or requires a lot of variables and whatnot, when I could have just whacked it into Chameleon or done something else that's super easy and super quick and still serves the same purpose. So really looking at, whatever you decide to create, what is the intended impact and, how user-friendly it is for your audience as well. So in Chameleon Creator, when we look at the static interactions, these are the delicious little morsels that you can create. So for the static interactions, we have images. So your normal stock alone images that you can create, image blocks. And I'll show you a little walkthrough demo of stuff that I have in the deck later on, but just to give you a snapshot of the interactions that are inside the Creator tool. We have our images, and the way that Chameleon is designed is that it's stacked. So we have an image and we have text. We can reverse that. We can have text and then an image. And it's because it's a responsive tool. So with whatever e-learning module that you decide to create inside Chameleon Creator, you are able to scale it and it will just stack naturally, so you don't have to stress about any of the responsiveness. Cards, text, videos, embed. Now, if you are using Genially, don't know how to pronounce it. It is the interactive tool builder where you can create interactive like infographics and games and quizzes. You can embed that inside Chameleon as well. So I've designed modules in the past in Chameleon where we've created a bespoke interaction inside Genially, and I'll just embed that in there as well. So you can definitely use that. Audio bites, so you can add in your audio in each of the slides or sections for people who don't want to read the stuff on the screen but just want to listen. So you can add that in there. Upload PDF, the rating. Oh, the rating's really cute. There's love hearts, stars, smiley faces, so you can play around with the ratings there. Topic portals, which is one of my favorite features that I will take you through later. Results, so if you're calculating a quiz or a check-in, it can formulate a result for you. Certificates, text entry, and text entry variable, which is a new feature, which is super cool. So you can start your e-learning module with having a, collecting your learner's name. So let's say, what's your name? And then you can write in Tom. And then throughout your learning module, you can reference Tom in either your feedback or reference Tom again in a question or scenario, or even in the text. So that's a really, really cool new feature that they've just added. And then the interactive stuff, so the click and reveal. So we have our amazing flip cards. So on the left-hand side here, you can see the sample of what that looks like. Now, I love the flip cards only because you can customize it. So you can customize the drop shadow. You can also customize, either having an image at the front or just text. And when you flip it around, again, image or text as well. So there's some customization available there. And there's carousels, there's accordion, there's click to reveal. There's also landing pages. Now, landing pages are super cool. If you need to help your learners navigate within the module in different sections or topics through to having external links, you can create a really beautiful landing page. And also drag and drop. Why not? Hotspots. I use hotspots for infographics. So I design infographics and have hotspots laid on top of the graphic, and also hotspot landing pages. So this is a really cool feature in how you use it. So visualize with me. If you have, let's say, a map and you want to create an interactive map to help a learner navigate through different topics or sessions, you can create that using this hotspot landing page. So yeah, definitely check it out. These are some really cool features. And then, of course, the assessments. You can't go wrong with really beautifully pre-built, I'm going to emphasize pre-built quizzes. So you don't have to stress about redesigning or recreating quizzes. It's already there for you. There's multiple choice media, sortation. I should totally be a brand ambassador because I'm nailing this right now, aren't I? Sliders. Now, the slider is a bit basic, but I think it does its purpose. There's a scale. You can add in your numbers, and as a learner and user, you can scale it up and down. So pretty cool there. Drop downs, hotspot quizzes, and again, text entry quiz as well. So having that open form for your intended audience to write in. I just love the interactions. But for me, I'm going to share with you my 4 favorite features that I absolutely love. The first one is the user-friendly interface, backend for designers and the learning content creators, and also the front end for the user and how our learner views it. Parallax background. Oh, for any learning designers or e-learning developers, geeks out there, sorry. I can't wait to show you more about the parallax scrolling because that is one of my favorite things. There's just so many things that you can do with a beautiful parallax background. And for those who don't know what a parallax background is, I will take you through the definition later. And then topic portals, which is a really great way for us to create branching scenarios, complex branching scenarios, and games, if you like the gaming element of e-learning. And also inbuilt illustrations inside the Chameleon Creator, and not just tacky meh illustrations, really beautiful, nicely designed illustrations. Oh my gosh. So let's take a look at the backend. So here, just side by side, you can see the backend. So with the backend for designers or whoever's creating the e-learning module, on the left-hand side, you have where your authoringness happens. I don't know what I'm saying, but it's where you create your topics and your interactions. It's clearly laid out. And if you're ever struggling with what is what, you can always hover your mouse over the icons and it'll give you a little description. And also on the right-hand side, we have the beautiful front end. But can I just take a moment to say that this is a template inside Chameleon. I didn't create this. And it is so hard to find an authoring tool that has beautiful templates. You just have to see all of the other templates that they have. It is ridiculous. Like, there is so much that could inspire you to create, really bespoke e-learning pieces for your project. There's various styles of templates as well. So it's not just illustrative. There are, really nice imagery. Some is based on, just really nice iconography and clean abstract backgrounds. But it just makes you so excited to design in a tool. Makes me excited. Don't know about you, but makes me excited. So in the back end, it looks something like this. Hello. Here you go. So as my mouse is going through in this pre-video, you can see that I'm just selecting and clicking through the interactions. So on the previous slides where I was showing you all of the interactions that you can create inside Chameleon, this is exactly it. So we can style each of the interactions to our liking. So when you think of the buttons come in various sizes and shapes and forms. You can create an outline button. You can have solid colors, hover states. Oh, beautiful hover states. This is an example of the rating there as well. And it's just an easy way to design an e-learning. So I would class Chameleon Creator as a rapid authoring tool. It is quite quick. There's so many pre-built interactions ready to go so that you can just click it and style it to your liking and style it to your branding as well. Yeah. And then front end as a user. Ooh. Hello. Oh yeah, it's a video. But look at this clean slide. I love the micro interactions and the micro animations. So when I say micro animations, it's when you click into a button or click into a thing and there's that quick micro animation. It makes it look so seamless. Like, look at this flippy. So beautiful. Great, beautiful flippies. And also you can add in your animated GIFs if you create a lot of GIFs. Again, really nice rating interaction there as well. So it really depends on how you want to create it. But it is quite simple. It's just you click the interaction, it's there, it's pre-built, and you just need to style it to your liking, which is really, really nice. Oh, okay, my favorite part of this deck. Oh, everyone, parallax scrolling. Oh! As a designer, I completely geek out about this because it is so hard to create parallax experiences in other tools. But now, in a click of a button and the way that you design your visual, you can just create a parallax background. So a parallax scrolling is a visual design technique where the background image is moving slower than the overlaid image. So it's like it's scaling and it's sliding at the same time. So it creates like a little mini micro 3D effect, which is pretty cool. And the experience as a user when you scroll upwards via your thumb on your phone through to your mouse as you're scrolling through, it just creates this nice glide. So I really love the parallax scrolling effect. So how I would use parallax scrolling, so think visual storytelling. Let's say you have a topic around growth mindset and the theme is ocean. I would have like a beautiful long graphic with the ocean and the sea going down, or maybe going up into the sky. I'm not sure, one or the other. But that would allow the users to just flow through, experience the content in the center. So you'll notice with Chameleon as well, the way that their interactive blocks are designed, it's quite centered. It's either centered or split into two, where you have your text on the left and images on the right, vice versa, or it's stacked on top of each other. So when you are using your phone or experiencing the module on your phone, it scales quite nicely and neatly. Also think topic themes. Let's say you have a large-ish topic. You want to break it up into themes. You can have like different branding or visual style themes for each of the topics and have that scroll through. How I would also use parallax backgrounds is to create like timelines, like company timelines or a timeline on a thing. I'll show you what that looks like. And background scenes. You can create really nice bespoke backgrounds there as well. So this is something that I mocked up. And this is an example of parallax scrolling. Look at that. So the dash line in the center, I've created, this is a really long graphic, by the way, and I've just laid it in the back as a topic background. Sorry, I didn't put any text in it, but yeah, so you can see the characters are clustered on left and right. There's a page break as well. You can overlay a page break and then go back into the parallax background experience. There's carousels there, feedback, and then I can click back up again. So really, really nice experience. I'm just going to watch it again because I love it so much. But there's just so much potential with the parallax scrolling. Now, if you work in a corporate organization and you can't do illustrations and vector graphics and go wild as I did here, don't stress. Here's another visual design style. Here, using color blocks. So color blocks and design accents. So when I say design accents, what I'm talking about is the doodle illustrations or any iconography that you use that's quite small and not too in your face. That's what I mean by design accents. So here we're just elevating the visual design approach with nice, beautiful culture graphics or scenery graphics, laying over blue overlay and color blocking it with some bold colors as well. So lots of opportunities in how we can use parallax scrolling, but these are just some 2 quick examples that I mocked up. So how did I create that? This is what it looks like. So if you are using Chameleon already, or if you're interested, there's like a 2-week trial. If you want to play around with the tool, go for it. But yeah, you can, these are my settings. You can screenshot it if you like, but I'll share this deck afterwards so you can have a play around. But yeah, it's a really long graphic. So the width that I use is 640 pixels and the height is 2330 pixels. And I found that it sits quite nicely behind the screen. If you are using Adobe Illustrator, you can create the artboard there. You can also use Canva and create the similar width and height. You can also use PowerPoint, you can use Affinity Designer, you can use Figma. So many tools that you can recreate this. So don't feel like you have to use Adobe Illustrator. There's many, many, many design tools that you can use out there that are free as well. Yeah. And topic portals. Oh, topic portals are great. I'm just like watching time. It's okay. I think I'm good with time. Think branching scenarios. Think all of the wild branching scenarios that you want to create that is easy to navigate, that has a nice landing page and allows the user to go on their own adventure, experience the scenario, and then come back and complete another scenario. So you don't have to create bloody variables. Oh, so many layers. It's all done for you. It's pre-built. It is a pre-built functionality. So you can also create beautiful chapters, choose your own adventure. And what that could look like is this. So on the right-hand side, that's the navigation. That is all of the topic portals that exist. This is, again, a pre-built of one of the templates in Chameleon that I really like, and I thought I'll just share with y'all. But yeah, look at that. After a user clicks an experience, whatever they experience, it could be a series of content, it could be a series of interactions, and then they can go back to the topic portal. Isn't it great? So like you can even visualize, let's say, characters. If you want to design a little mini game, avatars, they can click in and just experience that, or even, you know, company cultures. Yes, or I mean, company values. Let's say a new starter onboarding, they want to experience, you know, how can they experience the company values in action? We can create like a beautiful landing page of the values. They can click in and experience like a nice video, or like, here are some top tips on how to live courageously. I don't know, whatever your company values are. So that's another example in how you can use topic portals. Oh my gosh, built-in illustrations. For those who are not illustrators, don't you worry, Chameleon's got you. The cool thing, what I love about this built-in illustration library is that you can customize the branding colors. How amazing. So let's say you want some characters, you can just select a person and then go into primary color, click it and punch in the hex code. You can drag around the little button to pick the color selector, pick whatever color your heart desires. And then you just insert the image and it goes straight onto your interaction or whatever block that you're designing. So I think it's such a nice addition that Chameleon has added for people who are, you know, wanting some illustrations that's pre-built. There you go. And also in the Chameleon's library, for all of the cool abstract waves in the background that you've seen in some of the scenes or some of like the slides, you can access that in this library. So you can create your own beautiful like wave as well and have some text and fonts and next buttons. So really cool stuff that Chameleon has included. So now I'm going to jump into visual design tips. I know you're probably very excited to jump into a tool and just develop, but I want you to focus on a brand guide first. Just get that ready first. Why a brand guide? I'm a self-taught designer, so I have been very rogue in the way that I design things. And what I've found and noticed over the past many, many, many years is that when I do have a brand guide ready or a style guide, it allows me to create more efficiently. It allows me to design more efficiently. I know it's common sense. I'm sorry if you're laughing at me, but that's okay. I'm learning every day. But when I was at Canva, I worked with an amazing, amazing brand designer. Her name's Nikki Johnson. Nikki, if you're watching, love you. She has taught me so much about brand guides and brand styles, and also how we can use that more effectively within L&D teams. And so I've just adopted that and learned that. And now everywhere that I go, I ensure that the teams that I'm working with have a solid brand guide, because what that looks like is this. When we have our logo and our color palette, you are able to go into your Chameleon Creator tool and straight away go to the navigation bar and just select the navigation bar, customize the color palette, done. That's one thing ticked off your list. You can then go straight into the section where you add in your logo. That's another tick off your list. You can then go straight into your typography, so your fonts, customize and add in the right fonts that you need for your e-learning to ensure that it's brand aligned to your organization. That's another tick. When you have the parameters set for your imagery style, so for example, if your organization only allows you to use specific images, making sure that those images are ready and done. Or let's say your illustrations, there's certain illustrations that you can use, photography, through to iconography. There's certain specific iconography that you're only allowed to use. Having that there ready to go, you're able to, visualize and design, and also have your storyboard. Sometimes I don't storyboard, I just go straight in and develop. But anyway, everyone designs differently. But, if there is a moment where you do have your storyboard, making sure that, you have your style guide and your storyboard together, depends on your timeline. But, if you have like a week to design an e-learning, you'll figure it out. You will figure it out. Another thing that is really important as well is the accessibility standards. So ensuring that, you have your guide ready, including the accessibility standards of what your company standards are. You'll be able to design better. So you don't go rogue like me and just design sometimes visual vomit on an e-learning. Let's move on to the next thing, is asset layouts. Now, the cool thing about Chameleon Creator is that when you know what size of imagery you need to use, the layout and the setting of your visuals look quite neat and nice in the overall e-learning. And what I mean by that is, feel free to screenshot this, but for your standard backgrounds, so background scenes of Chameleon, I like to use this width, this height. For the Parallax backgrounds, like I showed you before, this is the width and height that I like to use. And also for the flip cards, I find that 800 by 800 works really well, so in a square. And also I always keep like a buffer space around the, let's say if I use a icon inside the flip card, I want to make sure that I'm designing it by 800 by 800, but having a buffer space just around the icon. So it's not too stretched out, but it's nice and situated in the center, if that makes sense. And design inspo. So I just want to spark some inspiration and sprinkle some inspiration for your next upcoming micro e-learning project. You can use some color blocks. So it's okay to use white space. I know sometimes people fear white space is boring, but if you use your typography correctly, the way that you use your, simple iconography, you'll be able to design a really nice, punchy e-learning experience. So here, for example, you can see the white space, and then the second image is a red overlay of the bridge visual, and then there's that little arrow accent that they've created there just to guide the learner's eyes down, which is really nice. And then also a bold red with white font over it. So I thought that was really nicely designed. And then moving on to the next inspiration, abstract shapes. I know you might see a lot of abstract shapes around. I've seen it quite a bit in Articulate Rise and some of the modules that people create, which is beautiful and I love. So here, you can see that it's not just abstract shapes, but it's also some design accents. So again, the little sprinkles and magic of touches in your visual design. So here we have the nice little lines, and we have some dots that are scattered around. So a really great way to create this inside a parallax effect inside Chameleon Creator. And so you don't have to have one long visual. You can actually break this up and cut it into, let's say, 4 slides and have that as a background image as well. It depends on how you want to use it. And for my corporate amazing peoples, if you are not able to use illustrations as part of your brand guide, try some floating images. So really cool thing that you can do is use your culture pictures or your organization and company pictures and just scatter them on the side here. And then remember that Chameleon Creator in the center, that's where they place all of like their interactive blocks or their blocks. So text, images, visuals, and next buttons always scattered in the center. So regardless, if you were to create a background to have some images on the side here like this, it'll sit quite nicely in the center. So similar to here as well. And also it's nice to use some bold colors. So if you have a really cool branding palette, color palette that you are able to use some bold colors, color blocking, have fun with it. And also try and, Canva has a really cool background remover tool. So you can background cut people out and put them over a shape or a color, like here, like this lovely girl. And also adding in some doodles or hand-drawn stuff as well, if that's relevant. If you're not into color blocking, you can blend some images together. So here, this is a really nice example of a blended visual with a dark color. So you can imagine how nice the color will pop with, underneath cloud here, you can have some green text and also some white text and then a button to progress to next. So there's lots of opportunities, and this is just a quick example of some design inspiration. There are so many more visual design styles out there. I just picked this because I feel like it's a bit relevant for people from different organizations and branding styles. Okay, I have 13 minutes left. What? And some use cases. You can see that I rushed my deck. At the beginning, it was like nice and pretty with visuals, and now I'm just like blank boxes, but I hope it's still impactful. So some use cases. So if I were to create a fun project or a project inside Chameleon, these are some of the things that I would probably create. The first one would be product knowledge, a product knowledge map for the sales team. I would have a nice infographic map that I've designed with, placement of the various products of the organization, and I'll create like a topic portal out of it, or maybe like a hotspot landing page inside Chameleon Creator. And I will create a space where, the learner is able to explore the various product knowledge. So they'll click into it, they'll read a bit, get a quiz. If they answer it correctly, it will unlock more product knowledge, but also some sales tips or hacks for that salesperson. So this is probably like a fun, maybe like game, or it will be like something fun to help prime the sales, reps mind before they go in and actually get access to, I don't know, maybe a group coaching session or maybe a buddy session. So they would need to complete this product knowledge map experience first and then go into like some social learning experience as well. The second one, leadership decision-making simulation. So again, some fun branching scenario, like I would use Chameleon Creator to create some branching scenarios. So it will be fun. It's a clean interface. The learners will love it. I'm so certain of that. But it's just a fun way for them to experience some scenario branching. And then the last one, again, you can create like a fun map for diversity and inclusion, get people on a journey, to also probe their decision-making during, anything that is within the diversity inclusion space. Yeah. And then best practice. So I want to wrap this session up with just some best practices and just some things to think about when you have an upcoming micro e-learning project or micro learning project. Keep it short and focused. Aim for content that the learners can complete within a short amount of time. Now, please don't be guided by 2 to 5 minutes. I like to have it at 2 to 5 minutes. people that I've worked with or teams that I've worked with, sometimes they cap it up to 15 minutes or 10 minutes. But anything more than 15 minutes to me is like a really long learning interaction. So have a think about how you want to do that, and just stick to like one key topic or one skill, like really keep it hyper focused. Then moving on to the use of multimedia wisely. I love videos. I feel like video, and I love animations as well. So sometimes there might be a chunk of content. It might be just easier for someone to either record an audio bite, have a nice little visual of that person's face and an audio bite so someone can listen, or record that person as well. So really cutting it down, but use it wisely. Like I would use it at the beginning to introduce a concept, or in between as well, if there's a really important key point that I want to stress for the learners. Design for accessibility. So ensure that your content is accessible for your intended audience and learners. Use alt text for images, provide transcripts if you need to, and also ensure that it's navigatability for screen readers. So the cool thing about Chameleon is that when you are in the learner's view, you can just tab through and listen. If there's like a screen reader layered on top of that, it will be able to read back to the learner. And also iterative based on feedback. Please collect feedback from your intended audience, either through an iterative approach, either through halfway through the project or the end of the project or thereafter. The only way that we can refine our learning products and ensure that it is impactful is if we iterate and get the feedback that we need. So always improve on that. And also start with clear objectives. I don't know why this is in the 5th box. This should be right at the top. But start with clear objectives. Define what the learner should know, be able to do end to end by the at the end of the micro experience, and keep it very specific and focused. And also simple navigation. Just design the experience knowing that it is intuitive for the learner. So the great thing about Chameleon Creator is that, you know, you click next and it just swipes up automatically, and it's short, it's sharp. So it's, to me, naturally micro-learning anyway, and minimizes the brain overload. And then that's it. Whew, I sped through that. I'm so sorry if I was speaking too quickly, but thank you so much for having me. And if you want to follow me on more of my learning shenanigans, learning shenanigans, if you want to hear me yap on and ramble on about all things learning experience design, feel free to follow me on LinkedIn and YouTube and Instagram. That's it. Thank you. Oh.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that. We've got loads of questions in the in the chat. So if you've got a moment, shall we go through
All right,
some?
I'm going to skim through.
So the first one came up right early on in the presentation when you had all those different formats up on the screen.
Yes.
So it's a question: have you ever made them interactive? Which I think you've covered in some degree around e-learning, but I just wonder if maybe does that apply to any of the other formats that you mentioned as well?
Okay, other formats. Yes, you can. It just depends what you mean by interactive, right? So I think there's moments where there is value to create an interactive element, but it's also what's the messaging that you're trying to get across, and also, you know, what is the main impact of your intended audience and what is the call to action. So for me, I don't just mindlessly put a pop-up or mindlessly put up, you know, an interactive thing. I really value call to actions that actually help someone do their job and also allow them to do their best work. So you can. There's interactive videos that you can create. There's also interactive PDFs that you can create. Yeah, great question, Miriam.
Fantastic. Next up, specifically about Chameleon Creator, which, as you know, I'm a big fan of as well. So I'm super pleased to see this today. Can we create our own template focusing on company branding and colors?
Yes, you can, Jeff. There is a section inside Chameleon Creator where you can create your own template. So that means you can skin the navigation bar, making sure that you're adding your logos, color, font, branding, and have that there ready to go, and then reuse it whenever you need to.
Lovely. We've got quite a few questions now coming in about this and its relation to Articulate. Everyone's favorite
I'm not a hater. I love all tools. I respect them, and I don't hate. I love all tools. I just don't use it in certain situations. I assess.
Cool. Well, let's start with the first one. Do you see this as an alternative to Storyline? There are so many people who complain about the glitches you find there.
Yes and no. So if it were up to me, if I were to design like a bespoke game something that I could have fun and have like 3 months to 6 months to play around with, then yeah, I'll probably use storyline. But if not, there's other ways to design the same output. I think as learning designers or learning experience designers or people designing content, you need to take a moment to assess your tech stack. And if you don't have storyline, there are other ways for you to create a thing as well, whatever the output is. So I've been in situations where I don't have access to any authoring tools and I've still managed to design quality learning experiences. It just depends on what your intended audience needs in that moment in time. Yeah.
Quite a specific one. Does it support importing other font styles if they're not already included?
I have only used fonts that are inside Chameleon. I think it's in their pipeline. I will get back to you on that one. Yeah, I think importing your own customized fonts are in the process.
Kind of like the storyline question, pros and cons versus using Rise.
Yeah, so I feel bad just bagging out another tool, hey. If I'm being very, very honest with everyone here, I have not touched Storyline or Rise in a very long time. There are many ways to design things. Pros and cons. I feel like Rise at the moment is a lot of learners are getting exposed to Rise and the way they experience, so they can be quite sanitized to Rise. And I think that's like, with any new tool or existing tool, right? It's just how you use it. Pros and cons. I might do a YouTube video on that. I'm not sure. I need some thinking time.
That's fair enough. We have got some more. How about the review feature and its comparison to storyline? I'm assuming this is like Review 360 they're referring to?
Yeah. Great question, Jeff. I have no idea. So how I have shared the review for Chameleon Creator is I would just, once I publish it, I'll copy it and I'll just share it with my stakeholders and get them to feedback it through my own template, my feedback template. So it's a bit old school, but it works for my stakeholders because sometimes they can't use the 360 tool as well in Storyline.
Smashing. And then really good question here actually from Andy. Neurodiverse learners might be sensitive to the parallax or flip animations. Can they be turned off?
That is a very, very good question, Andy, and I would say no. And again, that will probably be based on the design decision that you make as a designer. If I would probably always take a moment before I design any learning solution to assess the organization's learning capabilities and also their neurodiverse needs. And if there is people who are not able to receive that well, then I would definitely not use parallax scrolling. It just depends on the audience.
I guess
great question though.
Yeah, with Chameleon, you'd be able to just use other interactions as opposed to parallax would be the...
Yeah, definitely.
Amazing. Well, those are currently all the questions. And we are just about on time. Look at that. Smashing.
Yay!
What a start to the event. Well, thank you so much for being our first speaker at this year's conference. I think you did a rather good job. Chat, let us know what you think. If you thought Amanda did a good job, hit the like button, drop some comments in there to show your appreciation.
And if not, I love feedback, so you can always give me feedback as well.
We've got donuts flying into the chat. That's always a good sign, isn't it?
Donuts. The best.
Fantastic. Well, thank you all for joining us for this, our first session. Our next session starts in just over 10 minutes on cultivating creativity in learning design. Please do come and join us then. But in the meantime, take this to the WhatsApp group, have a good chat down in the comments, and of course, assuming you found this useful, consider sharing the video so that more people can see Amanda's fantastic presentation. Thank you all very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Have a good rest of the day.
Bye.
iSpring is an e-learning software provider dedicated to streamlining e-learning worldwide. With a team of top industry specialists, they create tools that make e-learning both efficient and enjoyable. Their AI-powered course creation tool, iSpring Suite, and the iSpring Learn LMS are the top choices for thousands of instructional designers, L&D pros, and content developers. Crafted with the user workflow in mind, iSpring ensures a seamless experience for the creation of impactful learning content. Their website, ispringsolutions.com, offers a treasure trove of e-learning resources perfect for those seeking to boost their L&D career or elevate their organisation's e-learning practices. You can check out the iSpring Solutions website using the link in the description below.